For me, I've always felt move like a champion, regardless if the belts are around you or not. But in terms of the pressure, just comes from how good do you want to be? That's the pressure.
Now, the sport globally wouldn't be where it was without AJ, and the fighters are benefiting because of the growth that AJ has injected into the sport.
They said he started too late. They said he was just a bodybuilder with a punch.
I had to cover my face with a towel and wanting to watch him, but then on the other hand, found it so nerve-wracking.
Be a time when I'll probably get beat, and it's up to me to come back and like that redemption and get back on my get back to my boxing and my basics and try and redeem myself.
He became the Golden Boy, the unified heavyweight champion of the world. This is not a story about boxing. This is the story of a man at war with destiny.
Joshua mixes it up and a glorious uppercut puts Ruiz down. But Ruiz gets back up and he comes to fire back and Joshua is hurt. Joshua goes down.
In the history of the heavyweight division, there are fighters born into the bloodline, and there are fighters born out of necessity. Anthony Joshua was the latter. Before he was the unified heavyweight champion of the world, before the stadiums, the millions, and the global adoration, he was a young man standing on a precipice. Born on October 15, 1989, in Watford, Hertfordshire, the son of a Nigerian mother and a Nigerian-Irish father, he was a happy child, energetic and deeply loved, but possessed of a restless energy that seemed too large for the quiet suburbs of Hertfordshire. By the time he was 16, he had left school, and Joshua was arrested for fighting and other crazy stuff, as he would later describe it. He was sent on remand to Reading Prison. He was released, but with a heavy condition, an electronic tag around his ankle, and a strict 8 p.m. curfew. For a young man used to the nocturnal freedom of the streets, this was a cage of a different kind. But it was this cage that would force him to find a new kind of freedom.
Some of the kids that are getting in trouble are facing hard times and a certain extreme of poverty where it's do or die. I need to get ahead. I need what he has. And listen, I'm going to be real. I understand that feeling. I know where they're coming from. But I do think in terms of putting someone's life in danger for the benefit of a phone, to make 100 quid is not the way forward. It's a short-sighted game.
The year was 2007. Anthony Joshua was 18 years old. He was bored. He was tagged. He was looking for something to do that didn't involve the police. His cousin, Ben Ilayemi, was a boxer. Ben was heading to the gym one evening and invited Anthony along. It wasn't a spiritual calling. It wasn't a dream of Olympic gold. It was simply a way to burn energy and get strong.
You know, but I've had a really good support team from my amateur club, Finchley ABC, and I was lucky enough to get called up to GB Boxing, which brought me on tremendously, which took me to #1 in the world, which is priceless, you know. So I've met some really good people, I've built some really good connections, and I think it's taught me the real meaning of hard work and how I get to achieve my goals.
Sean Murphy, the head coach at Finchley, remembers the day well. He saw a tall, rangy kid with raw, undisciplined strength. Joshua wasn't a natural in the sense of technique. He was stiff, he was raw, but he had power. Earth-shattering power. The gym became his sanctuary. The 8 p.m. curfew meant he couldn't go out partying, so he went to the gym instead. He trained until the lights went out. He learned the jab. He learned the cross. But more importantly, he learned the code. The London 2012 Olympic Games served as the ultimate stage for the emergence of Anthony Joshua. Competing in the super heavyweight plus 91 kilogram division, Joshua entered the tournament with immense pressure as a homegrown talent. Yet he displayed a blend of physical dominance and mental fortitude that would eventually lead him to the pinnacle of the podium.
Sometime in the future, in the far future, but at the minute I need experience, and I'm gaining loads of experience as an amateur. I'm representing my country, travelling, bringing medals home, and I'm happy at the minute in the place I am.
Beyond the gold medal itself, Joshua's Olympic win was significant for the cultural impact it had on British boxing. He became the face of a revitalized amateur program and provided the 65th and final medal for Team GB at the Games.
So I started thinking long term, and I started thinking, what will I tell people in the future, and what will my future look out to be? And then I started realizing that boxing can take me somewhere in life, and I thought, I'm going to knuckle down to this, and this is what I want to do. I want to be a boxer.
His victory was not just a personal triumph, but a symbol of the London 2012 legacy. A young man from Watford who, through discipline and the support of the national setup, transformed his life and inspired a new generation of athletes. Transitioning from the amateur ranks to the professional world is often a perilous journey for boxers. But for Anthony Joshua, it was a masterclass in momentum and brand building. Following his gold medal triumph at the London 2012 Olympics, Joshua took a 14-month hiatus to refine his craft before officially turning professional under the Matchroom Sport banner. His debut on October 5, 2013 at London's O2 Arena marked the beginning of a new era for British heavyweight boxing.
Squaring up to a new challenge, Anthony Joshua is facing his first professional fight.
Hi Anthony, how's it going?
And it's a challenge he's taking seriously.
You're known for that $1 million smile, as I call it, you know.
Like your one.
Are you going to have to be more serious now?
In my head, I've had to start fresh now. The Olympics is over, but it's fight time. You know, there's another guy on the other side of the corner, a referee in the ring. It's the same situation that I go through day in and day out.
Against the undefeated Italian, Emanuele Leo.
He's got a winner's mentality. 8 fights, 8 wins. Regardless of
Does that worry you?
No. But regardless of who they are and what they've done, he's still got in there 8 times and defeated 8 opponents, so he's got a winner's mentality.
Are you worried that you haven't fought in 14 months, you might not have the sort of fitness in the ring, as it were?
Nah, no, I'm fit. I'm good.
It took just 2 minutes and 47 seconds for Joshua to secure a first-round technical knockout. The clinical nature of the victory sent a clear message to the heavyweight division. Interestingly, the defeat was so comprehensive that Leo never fought professionally again, later citing the massive gulf in class between his previous experiences and the elite level Joshua represented. Under the careful guidance of promoter Eddie Hearn, Joshua's professional trajectory was meticulously managed.
And you spent the last year looking for, looking for someone to represent you, looking for a promoter. Why did you decide on Eddie Hearn?
Eddie Hearn, you know, we've built a relationship together outside of boxing, you know, a friendship. So that's priceless as well to have with someone that you're working with in business. And I've been around, you know, I've looked at things in America, in Europe. And I think this is the best platform for me to stay in UK. You know, the Olympics was here, and this is where I'm based. This is my hometown, and this is where I want to compete in UK. So I think Matchroom are the best team for me, and they're going to keep me active. October the 5th being the start.
Okay.
You know, and I hope to be competing 4 times, 5 times this year.
These early bouts were not just about winning. They were about transforming Joshua into a commercial juggernaut, capable of selling out major arenas. The Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte era of 2015 remains the high-water mark for British domestic boxing, a period defined by genuine animosity, a street versus elite narrative, and the first time the United Kingdom felt like the epicenter of the heavyweight world. Throughout 2015, the narrative was meticulously built around the contrast between the two men. Joshua was the golden boy, an Olympic champion with a corporate-friendly image and a seemingly indestructible physique. Conversely, Whyte embraced the role of the villain. Having returned from a 2-year ban, Whyte utilized 2015 to hunt Joshua down, using raw, unfiltered trash talk to peel back Joshua's polished exterior. He famously labeled Joshua fake, successfully rattling the Olympian and turning their December clash into a must-see cultural event.
Joshua is just in a different level from White, and there's no getting away from that. Oh! And that was Joshua hitting after the bell, and White not having any of that, and White's lost control. Joshua gets a left hand through, and that's it. Down White goes, and it's stopped. It's over. Joshua with the brutal finish.
The Joshua White era of 2015 changed the business of British boxing. It proved that a domestic grudge match could outperform world title fights in terms of pay-per-view buys and public engagement. This fight also ignited initial talks with Tyson Fury's team over a potential unification bout with Anthony Joshua.
You know, at the petrol station, wherever I'm taking my clothes to the dry cleaners, even the old lady asked me, when are you going to fight Tyson Fury? You know, and that's just how it is. So I think what it is with boxing is the public demand fights. So people are driving this fight. So it has to happen sometime, sooner than later.
Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko era, spanning from late 2016 to mid-2017, is widely regarded as the rebirth of heavyweight boxing. It was a rare, cinematic passing of the torch that saw the sport move away from the clinical, often criticized dominance of the Klitschko brothers into a new age of stadium-sized spectacles and explosive athleticism. The build-up to the April 29, 2017 clash at Wembley Stadium was marked by an unusual mutual respect. Klitschko, the Dr. Steelhammer, who had ruled the division for a decade, took on the role of the obsessed challenger, while Joshua, the 27-year-old Olympic gold medalist, represented the new age of the division.
And even though it's such an amazing event, I always try to strip everything back down to reality and what it really is, and just focus on it's just me and a man coming to blows, and the best man will win. You know, I'm still up very early in the morning and sleeping very late at night, working due diligently with my coach, strength and conditioning coach, mentors, to prepare myself not only physically, but mentally to prepare for any battle. And that's why I enjoy the sport, I take it seriously. And April 29th is just another stepping stone towards greatness.
AJ has a lot of energy. He's young. He has these big muscles that bring him confidence, and he just wants to demolish people right in front of him. That's what it is. It gives him a lot of confidence. But boxing is a sweet science. I have a lot of respect to Anthony. What he's doing, his commitment, his physical ability. He can box, he can, lift weights, he can be strong, he can train, he can be a CrossFit champion, actually. CrossFit world champion. I think he has great capability of it. He's capable, he can do it. And CrossFit became really popular, right? There's a lot of boxers doing it. So, but CrossFit is not boxing.
Unlike the toxic rivalry with Dillian Whyte, this era was defined by professional humility. By the time they met for the IBF and vacant WBA titles, the narrative was clear. An all-time great attempting one last stand against a protege built in his own image.
Can you imagine my next opponent, which is Anthony Joshua? I'm going to fight a guy whose age is exactly the number how long I've been in boxing, 27 years. Can you imagine that? It's a pretty amazing fact. Is it a degradation that I'm actually a challenger and underdog in this fight after 27 years being in sport? I don't think so. I think it's a great upgrade. I'm a challenger again. I feel young, hungry, humble, and totally obsessed with idea and my goal to raise my hands again as the winner of my upcoming fight.
Vladimir knows what's going to happen on Saturday night. He's going to put that little gadget in his robe. What do you think happens on Saturday night?
I win. I win. No, it's not complicated. It's not complicated. Let's not overthink it. This isn't science. It's not rocket science. It's just a fight. And as I said, let's strip it right back to what it is. A young lion, ferocious, hungry and very determined. Left no stone unturned in training camp, in many a training camps that's led to this position. We do talk about experience, but even when I was fighting guys with less experience, I took them as if I was fighting in world championship fights, and that's the only way I've managed to get to this position. So I haven't prepared for this. I prepared since day one for this. You know where I'm coming from? So yeah, I think when I wrap it up, it's just a win on the records and we move forward because the world is filled with so much information. We have a short time span when it comes to thinking. So let me get this out of the way and then we just focus on what's next and just keep the ball rolling. And thank you again for your support, people. We will continue to reign for sure.
Vladimir Klitschko hurt, and Anthony Joshua on the aggressive, and oh, a big uppercut by Anthony Joshua, and Vladimir Klitschko took it, but Joshua is going for it with the left hand, and down goes Vladimir Klitschko. Unbelievable scenes at Wembley. Anthony Joshua takes it, a new era, a new chapter.
The fight itself exceeded the immense hype, attracting a post-war record crowd of 90,000 fans. It was a roller coaster of momentum. The Klitschko era of Joshua's career changed his trajectory forever. It turned him from a domestic star into a global icon and proved he had the heart to recover from a knockdown against a legend.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think both guys, but obviously Anthony Joshua here deserves a round of applause after No, you do. I think just one of the great heavyweight fights, ups and downs, rounds and just incredible fight. Massive heart shown by both guys. Anthony Joshua is the new IBO, IBF, WBA heavyweight champion of the world. And
Anthony Joshua laughs a lot, but then today he does have plenty to smile about. He's just produced the performance of his career in one of the greatest British fights of all time.
How did last night rank as an achievement for you in your career?
That fight was about guts, pride, glory, entertainment, so it ticked all those boxes. My fight with Dylan was always a good one for me, and then my fight with Klitschko was always a good one for me because I think in terms of entertainment, we always bring value. Like, fair enough, I wanted to go out there and just be bam, 1-2 hook with Klitschko and making him miss. But it turned into a real guts and glory type of fight. So entertainment value, I'd definitely put it up there around number 1 or 2. And I know it wasn't my best performance. It was a very intense fight, you know. And that fight was a different kind of fight. There's never one kind of fight. There's many ways you can skin a cat. And that fight was about guts, pride, glory, entertainment, so it ticked all those boxes. So I'm happy I won in that sense, but on the other side of the field, I know when it comes to skinning another cat, I have to prepare in a different way. So even though I want to celebrate and enjoy it, I want to get back to training and find how I can improve, so when I come against another opponent, I can look better than I did against Klitschko. And that's just a athlete's mindset, if you know where I'm coming from.
Inevitably, everyone's now saying Fury's next. What's your thoughts on
that? If it's right for me, I just think that he's wanted to fight me for a long time, and I never shy away from a competition, so I've always embraced competition, and that's where I'm coming from. So if it works out for my career, I'll definitely embrace the challenge against Fury or against anyone else in the division.
What message would you have for him?
Congratulations on your career. You know, he's come from the ground up. Ordinary guy who's achieved magnificent things.
And I think that he's in training and he's getting himself in good shape, which is good for boxing because we need characters like him. So all the best to him throughout training camp, and we all look forward to his return.
So Vladimir Klitschko, even though we've been in the ring and we were enemies to a certain degree, I feel like we have a lot of mutual respect, and that's the great thing about boxing, is that you do go to war, however you shake each other's hands after. Me and Vladimir kept a good relationship, and he's just been in the game for such a long time. I keep myself around boxing people who know the game, and any type of information and knowledge can lead me on to success. So he passed on a lot of his experiences, which play a part in my mental preparation. I said, never give up. I just told him to never give up. It's tough. You're a great man, first of all, and you're a great champion as well. But I told him to never give up and just keep on chasing his dream. Boxing is really tough, you know, but he's created his own history, he's created his own legacy. And I created mine tonight, and I'm glad we could both play a part in each other's legacy. So I just kind of gave him a pat on the back and said, I'm sure I'll see you again.
Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr. era, spanning 2019, is arguably the most shocking and transformative chapter in modern heavyweight history. It was the year Joshua's aura of invincibility was shattered, only to be replaced by a newfound clinical pragmatism that changed his fighting style forever. The era began with Joshua's highly anticipated U.S. debut at Madison Square Garden. When original opponent Jarrell Miller failed multiple drug tests, Andy Ruiz Jr., a short, doughy late replacement, stepped in. Most fans and pundits viewed Ruiz as a mere footnote in Joshua's march toward a Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder showdown.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Was this the fight you really wanted at the start of the year?
Any fight's a good fight. Any fight's about adding to the legacy, but no, it's not. Wilder, that's the fight. But I'm not going to talk about that no more because they use a lot of talk to build publicity, you know, and it's still not happening. So I'm going to leave that one where it is until it's reality.
And just one final one for me. Obviously, Tyson Fury signed his ESPN deal. Is it a bit disappointing? Like, all the talk beforehand, he's going to come back, clean up the heavyweight division, then he's gone to a TV station where looks to have taken the two biggest fights away from him.
I think he's a smart guy. He's got smart people around him. So I think the decisions they make are going to lead him towards a fight with me or Wilder or Ortiz, whoever he wants to fight. But yeah, it's like he had his fight with Fury, Wilder. Fury had his fight with Wilder. I thought Fury would have rematched him straight away or fought me, but we made deals to Wilder and Fury after their fight, but it didn't happen. Made a fight offer to Dylan, offer to Ortiz. So you have to give credit to Andy Ruiz as well. He's talking a good game, and he's the one who stepped up, so good luck to him.
You know, it just gives you the extra confidence, the extra boost, and, you know, I'm willing to die in the ring to get this victory, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it. But I'm a different fighter, you know. I come forward, I throw combinations, and that's something that Anthony Joshua hasn't seen. I feel my heart and my mind, my soul is destiny. Things happen for a reason, and the reason is for me to become the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world.
Joshua mixes it up and a glorious uppercut puts Ruiz down. But Ruiz gets back up and he comes to fire back and Joshua is hurt. Joshua goes down.
You know what, I just want to thank God, man. This wouldn't have been possible. And all this hard work, especially my team, my coach, we've been working really hard, man, really hard. And I wanted to prove everybody wrong, all the doubters thinking that I was going to lose in the third round, first round. I was looking at comments as well. But what do you know, man? I'm the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. blessing, man. This wouldn't have happened, man, but thanks to Eddie Hearns, my team, Al Heyman, everybody, my dad. I'm still pinching myself to see if this is real, man. Wow, it's amazing.
AJ, first of all, how are you feeling?
I feel alright.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm a soldier, you know, through thick and thin, good and bad. We always look forward, never back. And always wondering what's next on the cards. And that's it, that's my mindset in general in life.
How do you view how the fight went?
Good fight, heavyweight boxing. It's an upset, isn't it? It's not expected. Rookie said I was the favourite. One shot on the top of the dome, you know, kind of rattled me a bit, and then tried to stay in there a few more rounds. But the better man won. Respect to Andy. And I move forward now, seeing what's next with the boss man.
Can you put on tape with your mind?
And look out for the end of the year. Who's next and what's next?
Appreciate that.
Never. I don't underestimate anyone. He's a decent puncher, decent fighter. It's his chance, isn't it? And I always say, like, anyone who comes to box me, boxing's 50 to 20% better than what we've seen. It's funny because as a fighter, as I said, I don't overlook anyone. But it's easy to overlook someone because of their shape or their record or whatnot. But these guys are coming to win, and he's a better man tonight.
After the shock defeat to Andy Ruiz Jr. in June 2019, Anthony Joshua went through a period of intense physical and mental rebuilding. The loss at Madison Square Garden stripped away his undefeated status and triggered a wave of public speculation regarding his state of mind and health. Following the fight, Joshua admitted he suffered from concussion symptoms. The loss had a profound psychological impact. Joshua described the feeling of defeat as if it rips away a part of you. However, he also expressed a strange sense of relief, stating that once the invincible aura was gone, the crushing pressure of being an undefeated champion was lifted. Promoter Eddie Hearn described Joshua as not himself immediately after the upset, requiring personal intervention and long discussions to spark the motivation for a comeback. Joshua eventually used the experience as a learning exam, transitioning from an aggressive brawler to a more calculating technical boxer, a change that allowed him to reclaim his titles 6 months later, but permanently altered his approach to the sport. The rematch, held in Diriyah, Saudi Arabia, was a masterclass in adaptation. Joshua appeared drastically different. He was 10 pounds lighter, leaner, and had ditched the bodybuilder physique for mobility. Meanwhile, Ruiz had famously succumbed to the spoils of his new fame, admitting later he had partied too much and coming in at a career-heavy 283 pounds.
I'm really hungry. A lot of people saying that I'm not training, that I'm not taking it serious. But come on, I got all these belts. Like you said, there's a lot of responsibilities to this. But I'm going to try my best, and God knows I'm going to try my best. I'm going to keep these belts, and I'm going to have them back in Mexico. But I'm really excited, man. December 7th, I'm going to make another history, and I'm going to win here the same fashion, the same way that I won June 1st.
But the only thing that all of us in this room have in common is time, and I keep on saying it because I feel like I just had to use my time very wisely. And as soon as I got back from New York, where I felt that commitment, which I always had, I got straight back into Finch ABC Amateur Gym. I didn't lose any heart. I didn't lose any type of fire in my belly. And I started punching the heavy bag, preparing for this day. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. You know, there's no fear in my heart, no fear in my eyes, no fear in my mind. I'm just really looking forward to putting on a show, and I'm confident.
One thing I've noticed, that's going to be a very special moment in your career.
So I was asked this, would it be a special moment? And I said no, because I know I belong there. So it's not special. I know I belong there. I know what I'm capable of doing. So when I regain those belts, I'm probably just going to keep cool and stay focused, because it's not a time to celebrate. It's time to keep that challenging mindset and move on to the next target. So one by one, I'm picking them off. As you can see, as I said on that board, I've been doing that ever since I started boxing, and Ruiz is just my next target on my list.
The fight was a boxing clinic. Joshua refused to engage in the pocket, instead using a sharp jab and constant lateral movement to keep Ruiz at bay. It wasn't the explosive knockout the fans wanted, but it was a tactical masterpiece. Joshua won a wide unanimous decision to become a two-time unified champion. The Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk era that took place from 2021 to 2022 marked the end of Joshua's second unified reign and pushed him into a profound professional and personal crisis.
Please welcome the reigning, defending, unified heavyweight champion of the world, AJ Anthony Joshua.
The atmosphere is going to blow everyone's mind. Everyone's going to be nervous. It's massive for British boxing. It's big for British sport, and big for the career of Anthony Joshua. It's been, as you said, Povetkin, I think, since his last major crowd, and that was what, over 3 years ago. So be a lot of nerves, very nervous, which is great. It's good news for you and all the fans because we know we've got a real fight, and I want to be nervous because I then know it's a real fight. And this is a fight between the unified heavyweight world champion, the undisputed cruiserweight world champion. It doesn't get much bigger. This is probably AJ's toughest ever fight, and I think he's going to prove to the world how good he is on Saturday. I think if you overthink Alexander Usyk, he can exhaust you, you know. But AJ, I think he's seasoned enough. He's in the right frame of mind. He's prepared well enough to not let that happen. But mentally, it will be draining because he's going to have to think a lot. It's going to be a lot of feints from both men, and you know, reactions are going to be key. But I just can't wait to watch it unfold. It's a real high-end heavyweight fight.
Let's keep it real, right? People are out to see knockouts, you know, and I want to deliver for these people. We want to go out there and put on a clinical boxing match, but you got to hit your opponents and hurt them. And that's exactly what we have to do as fighters, especially heavyweights. So yeah, we have to search for that knockout.
Main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Here we have a tactical tussle. Usyk looking to land that backhand. Light on his feet, bouncing on his toes, feints. Joshua with good hand speed and movement, trying to aim for body shots. The crowd, sensing the pendulum, is swinging in their champion's favour now. Anthony Joshua finally dominating and feeling comfortable.
Joshua could be taken out late here. And the referee looking in. 5 seconds left. And Anthony Joshua was right at the end. And new heavyweight champion of the world, the Fighting Pride of Ukraine.
Determined to fix his mistakes, Joshua triggered a rematch clause and overhauled his entire team. The goal was simple: bring back the old AJ, the aggressive, mean-spirited puncher who dominated the White and Klitschko era.
This is a huge fight for Anthony Joshua, a huge night for Joshua, and he's an overwhelming underdog going in, probably for the first time in his career. But if he can pull it off, if he can pull this off, his name will go down with the heavyweight greats.
Alexander Usyk just looks too comfortable. Is Joshua running out of time? Joshua tried to land a counter-attack but misses. Usyk light on his feet.
Thick foundation, and he sinks to his knees, and it is repeat. 24 rounds they have shared, and still the unified heavyweight champion.
The era is most remembered for its raw, unfiltered conclusion. After the scorecards were read, a frustrated Joshua threw 2 of Usyk's belts out of the ring, stormed toward the tunnel, and then returned to grab the microphone for a bizarre 4-minute monologue. In his speech, he addressed his past, his struggles with the law, and his frustration with being a new breed of heavyweight who is unfairly compared to smaller legends like Rocky Marciano. Later at the post-fight press conference, the crack in the armor became even more visible as Joshua broke down in tears, admitting the pressure of carrying the weight of British boxing had finally buckled him.
Am I proud of myself? Well, I'm upset, really, like deep down in my heart. Oh, man. Oh, I got to give the man his credit because he's done well. It takes a lot to come up in weight, challenge, win the belt, defend the belt. He's good. He's really, really good. He's been doing it since a young age, had hundreds of amateur fights. He's a real deal. So well done to him. I'm happy for him.
It's cute. Cute little crowd we got here. At the end of the day, people are always going to have something to say. It's because of who I am. It's because I proved everyone wrong. Reminder, the most hated and most criticized boxer in the sport of boxing before they loved him was Muhammad Ali. So I'm the anti-hero, and people will love me soon enough once they realize what I've done for this sport and who I truly am. But it doesn't bother me at the end of the day.
While Joshua was trying to build himself back up, a new challenger was breathing new air to the world of boxing. Jake Paul was one of the biggest YouTubers of all time and took an interest in boxing. His worldwide following made him an instant draw in the sport. Not many took him seriously in the boxing world at first, but he slowly showed everyone that he was taking boxing seriously. He was able to pull million-dollar paydays, which made it very enticing for opponents to box him. While this was happening, Joshua was set to return from his back-to-back defeats at the hand of Usyk. Rebuilding himself, going back to his former self with winning fights against Robert Helenius and Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua knocks down Robert Helenius. Joshua hits Ngannou with a right hook. And oh, there goes down Francis Ngannou. It is lights out. Anthony Joshua.
The Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois fight on September 21, 2024 at Wembley Stadium was perhaps the most brutal and shocking night of Joshua's career. Billed as the Riyadh season, Wembley edition, the fight saw a record-breaking crowd of 96,000 fans witness the definitive passing of the torch to a younger, hungrier British heavyweight. Dubois, who had been elevated to the full IBF champion status after Alexander Usyk vacated the belt, entered the ring as the underdog.
I see it as he has been the king for a very long time. He's definitely been the king, but I need to become the king slayer on the night and, to conquer that, take the throne from him, and, everything with a beginning has to have an end.
He's a fighter. He's ready. He's ready. He's a fighter. But, in terms of the face-off, look, I don't want to overlook it. It's not that I don't like Daniel. I don't really know Daniel, but I don't dislike him. I don't like him. I'm just telling people, don't let anyone take an inch because they'll end up taking a mile. And people in my industry, right, it's a competitive industry, will see that and think, I could take the mick out of him as well. You've got to really put your foot down sometimes and let someone know. I ain't here to play games. Watch yourself. And that's what it was. If someone told you, come on, let's go now. No, I'm not ready. Say, what? Let's go. And that's the energy that I matched him with, really. We're fighters.
The reigning, defending IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Dubois countered with a short clinical right hook that detonated on Joshua's jaw. Joshua collapsed face first, unable to beat the count. The fight was waved off at 0:59 of the fifth round, cementing Dubois as a legitimate world champion and handing Joshua the most comprehensive defeat of his life. And so the super fight no one expected was finally taking place. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. The fight for Jake Paul was a chance to show that he belonged in the world of boxing. And for AJ, it was the opportunity to give the fans what they have been wanting for years.
It's about who I fight. Come one, come all. Whoever wants it can get it. I don't mind.
He's remembered where he's come from, how he got where he did, and I think you're going to see a totally different Anthony Joshua.
one, and Jake Paul is already on the move, light on his feet. The jabs from Joshua has been keeping Paul at bay. It's amazing that Paul is still standing.
Gets caught with his hands down and his chin served on a platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul's face.
By knockout, AJ Anthony Joshua.
The car crash incident in Nigeria on December 29, 2025, remains the most harrowing and tragic chapter of Anthony Joshua's life. While Joshua has faced heavy knockouts and professional setbacks, this event was a deeply personal catastrophe that claimed the lives of two men he described as his left and right hands. While Joshua, who was seated in the rear, miraculously escaped with only minor injuries and a brief hospitalization, the crash was fatal for two of his closest associates. Sinagami, Joshua's longtime strength and conditioning coach and a core member of his team for over a decade. Lateef Ayodele, Joshua's personal trainer and one of his oldest, most trusted friends. In an emotional 6-minute video titled My Brother's Keeper for Life, released in late January 2026, a visibly shaken Joshua fought back tears, explaining that they were more than employees. They were business partners, housemates, and generals who had shielded him throughout his career.
You know, I've lost people before, but I don't think I've lost people like that, my left and my right, you know. Throughout this journey that I've been on, you know, it's not easy, but I didn't even realize that I'm the big guy, you know what I mean? But I was walking with giants, man, that kept me protected, kept me shielded. But the mission must go on. I understand my duty. I understand, what they wanted to do for their families. So what my goal is to continue to help them achieve their goals.
The tragedy sparked immediate rumors of retirement, as many wondered if Joshua could mentally recover from such a trauma. However, he has since vowed to continue the mission in honor of his friends. As of February 2026, Joshua has returned to light training, with his promoter Eddie Hearn indicating that the long-awaited battle for Britain against Tyson Fury is still being targeted for late 2026.
To have two British heavyweight world champions is unbelievable, but to have them fighting for the undisputed championship is something that will never ever happen in our lifetime again. So we've got to make it happen. Let's get the deal made now, and let's let those guys concentrate on big fights in the summer.
Sometimes, yeah, that would be ideal for that long layoff, get active, but sometimes opportunity presents itself and you have to grab it with both hands. But in that sense, if the opportunity presented itself and coach and the team were like, yeah, it's a good opportunity, I'll take the opportunity and grab it with both hands, 100%. The boxing world needs it. The boxing world needs it.